Hi everyone, you're watching Tahmid Saleh's Tennis Forum and welcome to a very special episode today where I'm not alone, I have a guest and that is The Slice. Mr. Stephen Boughton is going to be here with us today and we will be discussing quite a few things. So the main topic will be, will Roger Federer support Novak or Rafa in the final if that were to happen? What the Federer fans' thoughts of it are and who better than Mr. Stephen? And then things like the draw, we're going to be looking at the quarter of opportunity, how the draw may play out. Will it hurt Rafa playing the so-called lesser players earlier on? And we're going to look at technology as well. So we've had a couple of incidents with Shapo and also with a WTA match between Mladenovic and Sigmund where the ball clearly bounced twice. However, it wasn't given, and then Sigmund went on to win that set, and then win the match as well. Where the ball bounced on set point for Mladenovic. So yeah, we've got quite a few tasty things there. As always, please do share your comments, enjoy the video, and let's try and get to 200 thumbs up. I think that'd be an amazing target. You guys have been responding so well recently with the thumbs up, and that's what's really pushed on and helped other viewers come into the channel, and the subscribers are just going through the roof. I hope you've been enjoying the French Open. The week one is almost wrapped up now. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to crack on with the rest of the video. And yeah, we're going to have The Slice with us. So hi everyone, we have The Slice, Mr. Stephen Boughton joining us all the way from Canada.
How are you doing? Glad to be here.
Very happy to have you here. And one thing I just like to tell everyone as well is that Stephen is my YouTube inspiration. So before I started making any sort of videos on YouTube, I was looking for content from independent journalists, and The Slice was actually the first ever channel I came across. So I know there's other channels, but The Slice was the first channel, and yeah, I thought the work was brilliant. I really enjoyed watching The Slice on YouTube, and it's actually inspired me to start my own channel up as well. So I'm trying to get to your levels where I think you're almost pushing for 10,000. So maybe we can help you get to that. I'm still on the 2,000 mark. So yeah, massive inspiration. And I'm just really glad to have Stephen on the channel, who's essentially one of the reasons why my channel was born as well.
Well, man, thanks for saying that. It's very kind words. It's cool. I guess if I was any inspiration for you to start, then that's awesome because, you know, I just do this because I love it mainly, first of all, and I can tell that you love it as well. That's why you do it because, you know, we're definitely not making huge bucks here. So
yeah, man.
I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, like I can tell you care, and it shows off in the quality of the work you do and the reporting, and your takes are awesome. And I love the stats that you bring into it. So likewise, I've also followed you, I think since the beginning of your channel. Like I saw your stuff. So keep it up, definitely. Thanks for having me on.
No, I appreciate it. And I think what happens with like independent journalists is rather than seeing each other as rivals, we kind of it's like a team effort, I feel. So the better any of us does, I feel like, you know, it helps everyone. And it's really nice having different opinions from different takes as well. But yes, Stephen, welcome to the channel. Once again, I'll put the channel link for The Slice in the description below. Let's get you to that 10,000 mark soon, hopefully.
I appreciate it, man. Let's go. Road to 10K.
Yeah, maybe you can send me one of those t-shirts. I'll wear it here. But yeah, the main topic of the video, Stephen, and I think you're the perfect person to have on the channel for this, is who will Roger Federer support and want to win the French Open? So we'll start with Federer himself and then maybe go on to Federer fans. So from my understanding, or the way I see it, is Roger Federer, despite the friendship he may show with Rafa, there's clearly a bond there that he doesn't have with Novak per se. For me, I'm thinking, will he want Rafa getting to that 20 mark this early? Because I think, I don't know about you, it may be a bit inevitable that Rafa does get to 20 and Roger maybe, you know, won't win anymore. But I just want to hear your take. What do you think, Roger? Will he? And I'm only narrowing it to Rafa and Novak. So I know obviously he'd probably want Team or someone else to win it. But between Rafa and Novak, who do you think Roger will be gunning for in the final? Let's say.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, obviously, me and Roger Federer are super close friends, so I know all the details. We have, you know, we FaceTime every day. I'm just kidding, but from what I know from different interviews I've heard of him in the past talking about this type of subject, I feel like if he's sitting at home in Switzerland watching this tournament, he's probably, I don't know what he actually thinks, but I think he wants to see players play their best tennis and then basically will the best man win. But if you had to choose between either Djokovic winning this tournament, getting closer, or Nadal winning this and tying him, I still think he would choose Nadal because I just think he likes Nadal. I think they're actually friends, and I don't think he likes Djokovic as a person really. And I have lots of reasons for seeing that. And so yeah, I think he would just much rather see Nadal have success. And he said in the past that he doesn't really mind. Like he thinks that Nadal, he even thinks Djokovic will catch his records or his record in this instance. So I think, yeah, he would. He's not. I don't think he's too bothered by it. But if he had, and he wouldn't actually really root for someone, I don't think, unless it was the final. So say it was a final between Nadal and Djokovic, I think he'd be pulling for Nadal for sure. I don't know if you wanted to jump in there, but the second part of your question was about the fans, right? The Federer fans. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
think.
just to add to that, I think fair points. I do think he has that better connection with Rafa over Novak. But just to add with the fans as well, who do you think Federer sees a bigger threat in terms of how many slams they'll get? Because yes, Novak is on 17, Rafa's on 19, but I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be very close between the two. And yeah, from a fan's perspective, I'm sure all Roger fans are supporting Dominic Thiem here because not only is it stopping the slams, but it's also pushing him closer to that world number one spot, which Federer fans will most likely not want Novak to take. So from a fan's point of view, I'm sure Dominic Thiem is the man because I can't really see anyone other than those three winning. But yeah, from yourself, just your take on that.
Yeah, I think Federer's fans are a lot more emotional than he is probably when it comes to his records, which is I think because I think Federer became the consensus greatest of all time probably in 2009 or 10. I think at that point, even all the tennis greats were saying, yeah, this is the best tennis player we've ever seen. And I don't think it's changed for most people. But there's obviously now with Nadal and Djokovic coming into this, there's like kind of the group of those three are the three greats of all time. It's pretty clear. And I don't think Federer really cares like that much about the actual records. I think he cares about legacy, and there's no disputing his legacy in tennis. I think is probably the most influential player ever. And that won't change, and no matter how many slams Nadal or Djokovic get. So I think he cares more about that. But his fans, they do not want anyone passing him. So yeah, they're praying, no matter what the religion is, they're praying to their God that Thiem would just find the strength to beat Nadal and then beat Djokovic in the final. Because honestly, right now, if you look at the draw, to me, there's only two ways. Well, there's three ways that Nadal could lose, I think. I think he could lose to Zverev in the quarterfinals. It's possible. Because Zverev is a big match player sometimes. It seems like when he's beaten Djokovic in the World Tour finals. He's stepped up and beaten guys, I think, when it really counts. And he's actually pretty good on clay. And I think these slower conditions would help him in a matchup with Nadal. I think Thiem could just straight up beat Nadal, especially in these conditions. I think you were going to get to this later. And then obviously Nadal could lose to Djokovic if they met in the final. But yeah, Federer fans are cheering hardcore for Thiem right now. They're cheering for anyone that plays Djokovic or Nadal, basically. Like today, when Travelinga or whatever from Italy was playing, they had a little bit of a hope that he was going to somehow beat him, even though there was no chance of that happening.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of Swiss now. I think Djokovic has actually got a little bit of a tougher route from here to the final. Well, not from here to the final, but maybe the next two matches compared to Nadal. So, yeah, Federer fans are definitely cheering for anyone but Nadal or Djokovic, and especially Thiem, because he's got like a pretty legit chance, I think, to win this tournament.
Yeah. And I think, if a Thiem would probably be the perfect result for Federer fans, especially because, it gives him that chance to get that world number one spot before Novak gets to 310 weeks. So, but from a fan's point of view, like yourself, would you say Djokovic or Federer Djokovic or Nadal is more of a threat to Federer's claim as GOAT? So maybe not just slams, maybe everything included. Does Djokovic have the more all-rounded CV compared to Rafa's? I don't like saying it because it seems like I'm diminishing the achievement, but it's quite clay-based. And I think that will always be a case where a lot of people will say that he's the clay goat, but
Yeah.
overall goat wise, just your thoughts perhaps on who's not just slams but on the greatness debate.
Yeah, it's tough. I think they're both super close, Nadal and Djokovic, as far as who's more of a threat. Like Nadal could definitely win the Roland Garros this year and then match Federer's 20. But then there is honestly a chance that he would never win a slam again. Like he is getting very, like, I think even in this tournament, I know it's colder, but I've just seen some things where I'm like, he's slower. Like he's definitely slower, and he's not.
And his career started at a much younger age as well. So
It's true.
where Federer and Djokovic kind of bloomed a little bit later, Rafa was there as a teenager winning slams.
Right. So, yeah, and we're talking about the threat to Nadal as overcoming the GOAT. So I think, yeah, say if Nadal got to somehow to 21 slams or something and Federer retired with 20, it'd be still a huge toss up who's the GOAT, right? Because you say, well, Nadal has like 13 or 14 slams on clay. And then with Djokovic, the threat is obviously that he's beaten Nadal or Federer in 3 finals at Wimbledon so far. He's beaten him in a lot of Grand Slam finals. The counter argument to that is basically all those have happened when Federer's been older than 35. So it's for the last 8 years it's been a toss up, because even when Federer clearly had the most slams, Djokovic and Nadal fans were still arguing that he was less great than them. So I guess look back at Djokovic and Nadal fans and go, okay, so when your guy eventually passes Federer, that won't mean anything because you just used the same argument when Federer was at number 1. And so it's always going to be a debate. But I think when it comes to greatness factor, I think Nadal actually has more of a chance, because I honestly do think Djokovic's reputation has been tarnished a lot by the way he's acted over the years, but also in the last year. Like, I just don't know how you, like, when greatness isn't a factor, it's like, I think that Federer and Nadal stand out to me as 2 guys who are just like, they're just on a different level than everyone else. With skill, like Djokovic is right there with skill for sure. You could say that Djokovic is the best tennis player ever. That's a great claim. But I think there's been so many kind of like of his reputation that has been tarnished because of the things that he's done, the way he acts, that I don't think in the greatness thing, if you really look at what makes someone great, I don't think he's going to be there at the end of the day with Nadal or Federer. So I think Nadal has more of a threat.
Comments. Thank you. So the next point I wanted to get to, Stephen, and you touched on it a little bit, but that's fine, is just looking at the draws now and just a quick snapshot towards the final. So we had a few shocks already. So like Medvedev losing in the first round for, what is it, the 4th time in a row now at the French Open. And then Stan losing earlier today, which was, I mean, after watching Stan the first couple of rounds, especially against, I watched the whole match against Andy, I expected big things, and I was really looking forward to that Stan versus Dominic Thiem match. And honestly, at maybe a couple of days ago, I wouldn't have put my mind on either of them, because I thought Stan was playing good stuff, and I think I thought he would get better as he went on, but massive shock. But yeah, we have the draw, the rest of the draw, and I saw your Instagram story about the quarter of opportunity, which is the second quarter, I believe. And then just looking at some of the names, Fucsovics, Rublev, Dimitrov, Tsitsipas are probably the 4 that stick out there. One of them is playing in the semi-final. Who do you think, watching it? Because, I mean, Tsitsipas has already been taken to 5. Rublev's been taken to 5 already. But for me, they're probably the 2 strongest in that quarter. But they've been taken to 5. So just your thoughts on who you think's going to reach that semi from that quarter?
Yeah, I'm looking at that quarter right now, and I did see that as like the quarter of opportunity, even when the draw first came out. Obviously, just because one of the big guys is in that quarter, right? So it's kind of the obvious one. But even looking at it now, like, I think Tsitsipas has played extremely well. I think he's only played 2 matches so far. So right, because his 3rd one would be tomorrow, right? And then I think that the level that he's produced since going down 2 sets to love there, I think it might have been the highest that I've seen all tournament from anyone. Dominic Thiem's played great. Djokovic has played great. Nadal has also played great. But I think Tsitsipas, he just really stepped up. And I was like, these temperatures could almost also help him, because he moves so good. He's so wide. Like, he has such a big range that it's hard to like move him off the court a lot or move him around. So I think he's dangerous. He would be my number 1 expectation to come out of that quarter. Rublev could be there, but I haven't seen him get super deep in a slam before, right? So he could lose to Kevin Anderson. but if he wins that, he should definitely win the next round after that. So I see a Tsitsipas Rublev quarterfinal happening, and that would be a really good match, obviously. But seeing either of those guys in the semifinal, I think would be great for their careers for sure, because both of them would have a pretty good chance. Not a great chance, obviously, but like if they beat Djokovic, it wouldn't be like mind blowing. You know what I mean? They'd be like, wow, this guy really stepped up. Like it wouldn't be a massive choke from Djokovic. It would be obviously an underdog, but they're two guys who have been knocking at the door for a while, and I think hopefully one of them can make a run here.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I've been watching Rublev for a while now. I think he's won something like 3 tournaments already this year.
Yeah, great.
And yeah, I think so. Rublev and Tsitsipas played the Hamburg final last week, and then they both came to the French Open, and they lost, and it was taken to 5 sets. So maybe some fatigue there, but yeah, I'm sure. Like I really want that quarterfinal to happen. I think that's probably the most likely. However, with this French Open, I think it's been quite unpredictable so far. And just to quickly look at Novak's quota, I'm looking at the names. I personally can't see anyone stopping him until the semi-finals. Maybe Garin is on form, or I mean, like Berrettini perhaps. But I mean, safe to say he's going to reach the semis at least.
Pretty safe to say. I think if we're just being
Unless
honest,
he hits lineswoman.
Yeah, unless there's any lineswomen or he gets pissed off in any ways. But yeah, I think Christian Garin, if he beats Kachanov, could be a pretty good test for him as far as level goes. He's a really good clay court player. I think he won a tournament earlier this year on clay in South America. And I think Carreno Busta, I think would be harder on clay, or Berrettini. If Berrettini got really hot, which is firing missiles, he could be dangerous. But again, yeah, Djokovic is the clear favorite in this quarter to make it to the semifinals. But anything can happen, honestly. If there was going to be an upset, it would be on clay, right? Like I think this is Djokovic's least favorite surface. And I was just reminded watching Cecchinato today about when Cecchinato beat Djokovic in 2018. It's not like Djokovic was playing bad tennis at that moment, right? He won Wimbledon 3 weeks later, and he wasn't injured or anything. It's just he straight up got beat by a clay court specialist. So if Christian Garin or someone like that, or Carreno Busta is technically the only player who's beaten him this year, I think it technically goes down as a win.
That would be a very interesting match if Carreno Busta played Novak again.
Right, and I don't like Carreno Busta. Like I don't think he's a weird guy. I think, but
throwing his racket back and everything.
Smash just creeps me out. Like it's like, how are you that mad? Like I kind of get it. Maybe but I think Djokovic is definitely the clear favorite in this quarter. Obviously, he's arguably the favorite in the tournament. But yeah, there's some tests out there. Christian, like his next match, Garin or Kachanov, will be a test for him.
I agree with you pretty much. And the other half of the draw, so we're already into the fourth round for this half. Rafa versus Korda, who I believe is not even in the top 200. So, he's played 4 very, I don't want to be disrespectful, but not the greatest of opponents, especially in a Grand Slam. I mean, you asked it in your Instagram or your last video. Do you think this, Rafa playing the weak opponents, is it going to affect him later on in the tournament? Because he might be beating Korda and then say Zverev or a Sinner. That match I'm really looking forward to. If Zverev goes into that quarter and if he's firing hot, then he can beat Rafa. But I'm more on the side that he probably won't, and it could be quite a simple match for Rafa. Same with Sinner. If Sinner goes through, he might feel that pressure and just explode. So he could essentially reach Thiem in the semis a bit undercooked. So yeah, do you think maybe it could affect him?
Yeah, that's a good term, undercooked. I think so far in the tournament, he's definitely a little bit undercooked. I mean, in the first round, Gerasimov actually was hitting some pretty heavy balls. And Rafa, I don't know if he handled it that great. He kind of looked a bit slow there. He obviously won a straight set, so it's fine. It's more, as anyone who follows Rafa or cheers for Rafa knows, it's more about his level than obviously he's going to win these matches. But it's more about how he's doing it. But yeah, so far, and including the next match, if you take the first 4 rounds of Roland Garros for Rafa, if Rafa went off and played a clay court challenger tournament in Italy or something right now, he could have the same draw, technically. These are all challenger players. No disrespect, challenger players are amazing, but Rafa, it's the fact. So I think there's a different ball when you're playing somebody like Zverev, even though, any of these guys could beat Zverev. if Zverev can get through Sinner and play Rafa, yeah, Rafa again could easily just crush him in 3 sets. Or it could be if he's undercooked for that match and Zverev gets confident because the last time they play, he beat him. He knows what it feels like.
Yeah.
He has that belief. It could be dangerous. And then if Rafa gets super worn down in a match versus Zverev, and then he meets Team, and then he has to play Djokovic, it's like you don't like those things. So I'm on the side that it helps him because he's not tired out, but it might hurt him a little bit because the level isn't there. But again, there's no perfect way to prepare for any of these matches, and if anyone can figure out how to like problem solve in the moment, it's going to be Nadal on clay. So yeah, you got to back Nadal, like I've been saying all tournament, to figure it out. But yeah, it'll be interesting when he plays. Even Sinner could be tough because he's just good. He's really good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much brilliantly said there, Stephen. And the last point on the draw is we've got Team versus Gaston, who defeated Stan. And then on that, we've got Sonego, another Italian coming through, versus Diego Schwartzman. And Schwartzman is another one of the players alongside let's say the top three that have won every match in straight sets. So he's not lost a set yet. He, of course, did really well in Rome last week, where he beat Rafa and lost in the final to Novak. So, Team Schwartzman, your thoughts on that? I think that could be quite a tasty one.
That would be a super tasty match. I would take Team. I think he's looking really good this tournament. He's kind of like, his comments after his matches have been interesting to me because he doesn't sound that. He sounds very level-headed. Like, I don't know. He's acting like the tiredness from the U.S. Open hasn't really caught up with him yet.
I'm very surprised by that, actually. I thought I was actually in the thing that Team might crash out early here, but he's been playing some amazing stuff.
Oh well, he has the hardest draw for sure.
Yeah,
and he's played 3 guys. So who's played 4 challengers so far? He's played 3 guys or 2 guys so far. He's only played 2 matches, I guess. No, he played 3. He's played 3 guys who have been seeded. I mean, Casper Ruud is seeded, but Cilic is a Grand Slam winner. Not the best on clay, obviously. And then I forget who did. And Team Salt, who is obviously historically been a pretty good player. So he's had some good tests and he's answered them great. I don't think he's dropped a set, maybe 1 set against Sock. So I think with the slow conditions, he's going to be the favorite versus Diego Schwartzman, but Schwartzman could mess with him for sure by getting everything back. But there's nobody who hits a bigger ball on the surface right now than Dominic Thiem does. So I think he'd be able to get it done. Nadal didn't play his greatest match against Schwartzman in Rome. He was a bit rusty, and Schwartzman played great. So I'd still take Thiem, but I think those are definitely the 2 guys who are probably going to come through.
Yeah, I agree once again. I think Novak, Rafa, and Dominic are playing at a very similar high standard, and it's very hard to pick between them. So that semi between Dominic and Rafa could be crucial because I feel like if it goes to 5, then Novak's probably the favorite in the final against whoever. However, if either Rafa or Dominic, most probably Rafa, win in straight sets, then the confidence boost they will get from that they will put them as a big favorite in the final for me, because Novak's not going to get that test in the semi this year, which it could work both ways.
Totally, it could, unless I don't know. I feel sneaky just from the level I saw with Tsitsipas. Djokovic fans are out there being like, "You hope Tsitsipas is going to get to the semifinals so he can beat Djokovic." I love Tsitsipas, so yeah, I do. But I also feel like he could get to the semifinals and pose a pretty big threat to Djokovic. So Djokovic might get that nice 4 or 5 setter in the semifinal against Tsitsipas and win, and then have this confidence coming in. So I think you never know what's going to happen. Literally, we weren't talking, but I was thinking in the U.S. Open at this time, I was like, this is a guaranteed Djokovic win tournament. And like, you just never know what's going to happen. That's why we watch each match, and that's why it's so exciting to cover it, right? Because I think one of the 3, Nadal, Djokovic, or Team will definitely win this title, but Zverev could come in and beat all 3 of those guys somehow, and you never know. So that's why we watch.
Yeah, 100%. So that's the draw. I think we'll just discuss a couple more interesting points. So one of them, which I really didn't like, was from Mr. Mats Wilander. It might be Wilander, I don't know how it's pronounced, but essentially the comments he made on Andy Murray. So Murray, he lost in straight sets against Stan. It was the very hyped round one match, and it really did not live up to its billing. He
Yeah.
got destroyed. Stan just absolutely destroyed him. And what Max was saying was, it's quite selfish of Andy to just keep accepting these wild cards into tournaments, and
Yeah.
he should really give the opportunity to other young upcoming players. Now, players like Nick Kyrgios and Chris Evert have come out and said that they've disagreed, and I feel like Stan put an Instagram post because of this comment as well, about after the match with Andy. So,
Right.
in my opinion, yeah, that's outrageous for me because Andy, he's deserved that right, and I don't think by any means he's washed up because, like, literally a year ago he beat Stan in the final of Antwerp. So he's
It's true.
clearly there is something there. Maybe clay has never been Andy's favorite surface. So just for you, your thoughts: is Murray washed up? Was Wilander right to say that? Yeah, just some thoughts, Stephen.
Yeah, no, I think Willander was totally off his rocker saying that. I can understand why he thinks that because, he might think that Andy Murray's washed up or it's like there's no chance that he's going to get there. But yeah, it's ridiculous to say that because we're not talking about just some guy who's like been good in the past. Like Andy Murray is one of the all-time greats in tennis. Well, he will forever be. Like if it wasn't for Djokovic and Federer and Nadal, he would have won so many more slams. And he's been a world number one recently. And the only reason he's not at that level still is because he had a terrible injury. So he's deserved the right to unlimited wild cards. These young kids will always get another chance at it, and no one should be relying on wild cards. So if you're a young kid and you don't want to just need wild cards to get into slams, go win futures, win challengers, and you'll just get main draw entry and get onto the ATP. There's the hard way to do it. Murray's already done that hard way, and he's proven that he puts butts in seats, and that's what tournaments want to see. So yeah, you can't argue with that. And well, you could, but you'd be wrong. And Mats Wilander is totally wrong, I think, in saying what he said. But that's his opinion, so he's entitled to it.
Yeah, fair enough. And yeah, just remembering as well, Andy beat Sasha Zverev in Cincinnati less than a month ago as well. So
that's right. Yeah.
literally just before the US Open. So
Yeah,
for me, yeah, that I completely disagree with that. And yeah, like you said, he sells the tickets. People love Andy. He's a very loved player. And I think, yeah, without the big three, I'm quite confident that Murray would have probably got to maybe double digits if none of the big three were there, slam wise.
He's been in more than double-digit finals, I think, right? Like he's been
yeah. And he's pretty much always had to face the big three. So I think maybe the only final he didn't was Raonic, from my memory. Yeah. Oh, your countryman.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last point, Stephen, is we've had a couple of incidents where umpiring calls or things like that have come into play. So we had one earlier on with Chapo where it was 30-all. Chapo was serving for the match, and a ball was called in when the Hawkeye showed he was out.
Right.
And then obviously he went on to lose that match. But the one for me that was really quite bad was I was watching the WTA. It was a match, forgive my pronunciation, between Mladenovic and Sigmund, where Mladenovic was 5-1 up, advantage, so set point, and the ball bounced twice on Sigmund's side. However, Sigmund still scooped it up, and it went unnoticed from the umpire. And Sigmund was given the point, whereas it should have been the set to Mladenovic there at 6-1. Then Sigmund came all the way back, won that set, and ended up winning the match. So we saw the highlights within 5 seconds of it happening. So for me, I just think a bit more technology. I mean, we've had it with football, with the VAR system.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more technology should be added to tennis. But then does that, take away from the whole human side? Just your thoughts on maybe more technology in tennis?
Yeah, I think there's no, like, I've never understood that umpires can't watch replays, especially in tennis. Like, obviously when it's a line call, a replay is not going to help you much because with a video, it's basically, you can't really tell when it's close. But with something like that, like you watch the video, it's obvious. Like we all saw it. It's obvious that it bounced twice. It should have been Mladenovic's, I think that's how you say her name, I'm not sure. It should have been her point, and she probably would have won the match because that was match point, wasn't it?
It was set point, first set. But it would have been 6-1. So you'd think that would get her through.
Yeah, so I guess you wouldn't have won the match but it's just, to me, that doesn't make any sense. Like maybe each player could have like one video challenge a match or something like that, that they could just throw in. I remember the same thing happened to Federer It was a way less obvious though. It was kind of like Burdich got under the ball and hit the ground at the same time. It was
And he
close.
used his physics knowledge to know it happened,
Yeah,
right?
it was like 24, so there's no possible chance he got under the ball, which also makes sense. But that one I was like, I didn't really care because it's like so hard to prove. Like, but this one's just obvious. Like, so it's a shame. I've heard though that with the Hawkeye, it's not accurate enough to actually provide a good reading on the clay. So I think either what it should be. They should not have Hawkeye and just do it with the calls, but then they should never show the Hawkeye afterwards, like on TV to the fans.
Yeah.
Because then that just throws the umpire under the bus completely because he's just doing the best he can. He's not allowed to look at the Hawkeye, and then they show actually that was in. And it's like there's just that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the player because Chapo sees that and he's pissed. If he didn't see that, he just would have been like, oh, that was a bad call. But that Hawkeye might not even be right. It actually might have been on the line. And
I hadn't even thought of that actually, but I completely agree with you. If you're not going to use it, then don't show anyone. Because
if you're not going to use it, don't show it. If you're going to use it, then let's use it and just accept it.
Yeah.
Because I think even on the hard courts, there's still a margin of error. It's like 1 millimeter or something, or half or 0.4 millimeter. And I know Federer does not trust it, and he never has, and he never will. Especially on grass. The grass one doesn't make any sense. Like there's no way it's that accurate on grass.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's not accurate, but and I feel like that's another reason why clay tournaments or the French Open doesn't want to bring it in, because they feel the human vision of the ball's marking is more accurate than the Hawkeye system. Which
but I play on clay right now, and it's honestly sometimes basically impossible to tell. So you see players out there arguing with the umpire. They're like, no, look, it's touching right here. Like, and they're both looking at it and they're arguing about what they're seeing, which is I don't know the solution for it. I don't know if there is one. Yeah,
true. But the point you made about the video technology, maybe having it like the Hawkeye, where you only get one challenge. Because look, these things don't happen often. So it's not like it's going to be slowing down the game so much and things like that. But 100%. That's a very good point. Actually, you should write up to the ATP or the PTPA and all these different organizations we've got popping up now.
PTPA, the PTPA. We'll see if that comes into more prominence. But if you're not going to use it, I don't know why they show it. It seems counterproductive.
Yeah, true. We'll wrap it up there. Actually, I've just seen the time. It has gone over for half an hour. The plan was around 10 to 15 minutes, but
there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, kudos to you. I feel like it could have been longer as well, but this was honestly, thank you once again for jumping on this with me. Once again, like I've said before, the Slice has been inspiration of mine to start doing tennis videos, and I just love the content. So keep it going, and I hope you get that 10,000 soon as well. Any final words, Stephen?
No, man, I just appreciate it, Tahmid. Like, I want you to keep doing your thing as well, because it's great content. All of Tahmid's followers, keep getting around to stuff. It's awesome. I'm sure hopefully down the road one day, our platforms will grow enough to where we can be, some of the main media in tennis. Like, that's my goal, and I think that can definitely happen. Good luck with your all the things you're doing. You live in England, is that right?
Yeah, London, yeah.
London, yeah. Good luck with I don't know if it's public, but the academy and stuff. But good luck with all that. And thanks for having me on. And we'll definitely give you a mention out on the Slice for sure, and maybe we'll have you on the podcast at some other time. So appreciate it, my man.
No, I appreciate you, Stephen. And once again, I really enjoyed having the chat, and thank you very much. I'll just wrap up the video here. Sorry, Stephen. But thank you everyone for watching. Please do leave your comments. Check out Stephen's channel, will be in the description. And I'll let you say the final word, Stephen.
Sweet. Well, let's go. It's a great French Open. It's getting more exciting by the day, and I'm excited to. I'm at this time obviously as a Federer fan. I'm out of the closet Federer fan. I want to see some more teams stepped up to the U.S. Open. I would love to see him or another young guy step up at the French Open and get it done. But we'll see.